My name is Richard Eugene Puckett, and this is the book. The book is 8 photographs, 6 on silk and 2 on cotton. The book is bound in anodized aluminum. It is a screw post mounted book. The first photograph you see here is platinum with half as much each of gold and palladium, and then again half as much for each of those in rhodium and nickel. The formula was copied from a version of this print I made on rag cotton paper. This, of course, is not rag cotton paper at all. This is a medium weight silk. My goal when I started out in the late summer of 2023, testing, working with printing on cotton, was ultimately to be able to do something that no one has done in the world since pre-World War I Europe, when the Platino type company was actively selling silk pre-coated, pre-sensitized with platinum. This is the classic print. 1/2 platinum, 1/2 palladium on a very nice medium weight silk. You can see the look of it, the balance, the tonality, etc. It is half palladium, half platinum, the quintessential such image, but unlike any other platinum palladium print in the world, this is printed on silk. The third print is one of the early prints, I'd say probably from September, October of 2022, going way back. That was when I started out and I was learning how to print on cotton. This is cotton. It's a medium weight cotton. In the old days, 120 years ago, they printed on nansuk, which is basically lightweight handkerchief cotton. It was cheaper and easier to coat, I guess. This is not easy to coat. First, I had to learn how to get the stuff on it, and then how to, control it and get a decent looking image. And then I moved on to platinum. This is just palladium. I added some nickel to give it some clarity because plain palladium on cotton, well, I think there's a reason that in the mid-'80s when Martin Axon was printing all those photographs for Mapplethorpe and Horst and Leibowitz, on cotton he used platinum. If you saw the movie Mapplethorpe, you will recall that about 2/3 of the way through it, Mapplethorpe is represented sitting at a table, oohing and awing with his assistants at his side over some cotton prints made by Martin Axon, who then has a cameo, a walk-on in that scene. They loved them because of the blacks. This is probably my first, or one of my very first, anyway, palladium prints on silk. It's palladium with little nickel because, again, it was just too flat and I wasn't ready to move on to platinum yet. Getting platinum to reduce getting palladium to reduce isn't easy, but platinum is even weirder. Now here's another cotton print, very easily made and quite nice. This is palladium. Again, this is from the same era as the last cotton one I showed you. It's 4x5 contact print, palladium with little nickel. Look at the brilliance of that, the glow, the perfection. It's mostly palladium, a little bit of nickel. It's sort of like a platinum print from the pre-World War I era with mercury in it. They used to add mercury for various reasons, mostly tonality and color. This print is another print I first made, perfected. It's a very challenging print, very challenging negative to print. This one's a 5x7. And I threw away, I don't know how many efforts I made. This is a lightweight silk with platinum, palladium, gold. It's got the full kitchen sink. Everything's on it. Platinum, palladium, gold. I can't read that. I can't read my scratch writing. I do believe it is rhodium and nickel. The print was half, like the other one, it was about half platinum, then the other half as much again of palladium and gold and so forth. Very difficult negative to print. I'm still not sure I got it quite right. I'll probably try again at some point. And here is an extremely clear, crisp. This is that Fuji orthopan film, neopan I think it's called. That's why her hair is so dark. That plus the fact that it is palladium mixed with gold and some nickel thrown in, which gave me that bizarre, that odd look. But it's still a very nice look. And again, that's silk. And the last print in the book is another 4x5 contact print. This is a different one. This is on silk yet again. It was originally palladium and nickel on silk. I decided I wanted to see if I could improve it. What would happen as I was transitioning towards printing platinum on silk. I decided I would tone it with platinum. And indeed, as I watched the print in the toner, it did change. It got darker. It especially got darker, as you can see in the area right around the figure. It got darker and it shifted its color tone slightly. Sort of a very off top, almost top, but not quite, not quite, not that much brown, but it shifted color and density, telling me that, much to my delight, I can use nickel to obtain a certain look, and then I can more or less keep that look, but replace the nickel with platinum. Now, it wasn't until 1897 that anybody announced that they'd figured out how to print platinum on silk. Again, the insect protein of which silk is constituted seems to interfere with platinum, and it doesn't do too much, and it offers trouble with palladium as well. And so someone announced, we don't know who, it was never set down, announced that they'd come up with a formula, a process for sensitizing silk for printing platinum, with platinum and ferric oxalate, presumably, and God knows what else, to get the silk to reduce. Obviously, if you're going to do that, if the protein is interfering with the reduction of the noble metal, then you must either place some boundary between the silk and the protein so that it does not interfere with the platinum and its reduction, or you have to alter somehow chemically what it is about silk that interferes with the reduction of platinum and palladium. And somebody figured that out. It was announced early in 1897. I remember reading about it in an old book, or magazine rather, online. And then very shortly into 1897, the Platino Type Company announced they would be selling silk sensitized with platinum. Willis wasted no time. He offered silk prepared with platinum. Initially, it was sold, from what I read in the American Conservation Institute, Platinum Palladium, everything there is about platinum and palladium. You can find that book. Just Google American Conservation Institute, Platinum and Palladium book. And there's a chapter, Platinum on Textiles, written by someone over at the National Gallery of Art. And that person observes that platinum and palladium on silk, that person observes that there was so much excitement about silk sensitized with platinum, you would expect there to be many platinum on silk prints in collections and archives today, but they're quite scarce. Indeed, I've looked. I can't find any in the catalog of the National Gallery of Art, the British Museum, the Bibliothèque Nationale, the Louvre. I can't find any. I don't know where they went. I'm assuming that by marketing them as a novelty item, marketing that fabric as a novelty item didn't help it appeal to serious printers. Neither did the price much help it. It was more expensive than, say, platinum on paper. And of course, it's different. I don't know what their version of silk was, what they used. As you see in this book, silk, 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 and silk. It could be, this could be two completely different substrates. They're both silk. Same thing with this and that. And again, here and here. Quite different. And there. It's like each one is completely different from the other, although this is sort of resembles the first one. This is sort of resembles. Well, that's not really English, but there you have it. This sort of resembles. I cannot explain these things. I cannot explain the intense difference, but that might explain, why people didn't really warm to the process. The person who sold it who sold it to Platinotype may have said, well, find some other way to get platinum and palladium to print on silk. And they couldn't. So they went with what was there. And maybe that's why it didn't sell. Maybe it didn't look good. Maybe they didn't like it. Maybe instead of looking like this, or instead of looking like this, it looked more like this. No, maybe. People said, I'll print on paper. Hell with that. At any rate, the price of platinum skyrocketed. The Europeans are always, getting ready for war. Just as they are today, they were back then. They were eager to get to war. And it's far more important to a European to use platinum to make high explosives to kill hapless women and children than it is to use it to create high art, which is just as well given that European civilization is moribund, to say the least. The only thing they know about high art is what they look at when they're stoned. And so the price went sky high. Willis tried the Statista print, and he started making platinum paper. The Statista is, of course, platinum and silver. He also tried pure platinum paper. Palladium tape paper. I'm getting garbled here. But, that helped. Some people started using palladium. That's why you look in books, you'll see from 1917 and post-war, you'll see illustrations by, in books of their work, Stieglitz, and Edward Weston, at least I've seen, and others, and they have palladium prints where pre-war they would only have had platinum prints. And of course the price continued sky high throughout the Russian Civil War, since the majority of platinum and palladium come from that country. And then, of course, we had the Great Depression, and then the Europeans started cranking up for World War III. I'm sorry, they're doing that now, for World War II.